Welcome to a late IHP show with your very own 5D Mystic Stories with Maria, and we're going to chit chat about enlightenment. It is emotional mastery, and it says no to mediocrity and mediocre everything. So when you do spiritual and personal growth, that all leads to what? Deeper connection with self, God, and truth. We talked about that. So our lovely new moon brought this about as a mindset mentor, content creator, podcast host. You can become a paid subscriber if you are looking to integrate in your emotional resiliency, mindfulness, mindset, and mindset toolkit. And we also have inner growth mindset readings. So as a channeler and downloader, what I have today and for our late HP is it's a small world after all. Yes, it is. And all our brothers and sisters, they have that opportunity to choose love with their neuroception, obviously first. So the body, getting themselves into body and connection. Now we have an empowered feminine. So that's a person who's going to create emotional mastery. So I can look at them with laser focused eye or not. Their confidence not eroded because they own their 0-1-year-old and 3 to 7 and all their child parts. So this is the part. It's called a securely attached, non-traumatized, healthy self-worth person because you're not overwhelmed, because your body's not actually scanning self and others to see if it's safe or dangerous to be yourself. So your default mode network is downregulated when you have an empowered body because you have an empowered mind. Mind, why? Because you have an integrated brain. And that's because your own biology is yours. Memory, implicit, explicit, and imagination, so you contain sensations, images, behaviors, affects, meanings. I'm attachment trauma educated, so Peter Levine is awesome. Okay, so Maria has her own empowered feminine masculine, and when I first started out my mystic journey, I didn't know that. I knew that one is a counterpart to the other, but there's also counterparts, just so you know. So empowered masculines are also empowered feminines and vice versa. So that means that they can cry like big girls, big boys, yes. And they can be star children because they are their functional child adult, which is why we don't accept mediocrity or mediocre behavior. And so a cold heart, a facade is not going to be a person who's intelligent, because they're affected by implicit, explicit memory and diluted by their imagination. And they don't know Sam Harris, who shares how to be grounded in reality. Any of our cherishable beliefs, love you God, could be falsifiable. So the ones who follow fake dogmas are the ones who are following people who use yesterday's books and tell you yoga brings demons out of you. But Peter Levine, Stephen Porges, Bessel van der Kolk, and many more are exactly explaining what ventral vagal toning exercises are. So when people don't believe in these somatic therapists and just somatics overall, they're not believing in themselves. We leave it alone because the kingdom of God can be within every person who's an integrated brain. The ones who are mediocre are not. In fact, they think pseudo-intellectuals are brilliant. We know they're not. They're destructive. In fact, they pretend to play Russian roulette while we are like, wow, you actually think you're a good father just because you're a man? Well, I'm just going to have to leave that one alone, but no, you're not. You're an orphan. Who needs Patrick Tiahan? What are you, a fake mentor? Sure, keep on helping, saving people, okay? So when you meet the ones who are pretending to be badass, they will make the hyenas from the circle of life bad because, you know, humans who are distorted, the ones whose faith in humanity has been broken. That's why they follow the CIA agent who tells them how to keep more secrets so that you can watch your back. That's called a body in protection and safety behavior, which means that that's another person out in the desert. But don't worry, I will be able, as the children of God always do, to reach out and create a bridge. And this is the moment of truth. If they like my ventral energy and they like their own and they welcome the parts of all of their self back, then we're going to have an expanding piece of consciousness. And like the Dalai Lama said, all religions come together. 5D Mystic here in the Enlightenment Soul Age Group. So Enlightenment Soul Age Group know all about, we don't need to call God one word. We don't need to eliminate that we can talk about God, Akash, source, divinity, mysticism with all the different stories because we do Anima Mundi. All is accepted, nothing is rejected because we're not in the desert pretending to be alive We are not at a dead end, and there's no real dead end, but when somebody uses the dark sides of neuroplasticity, shame, blame, fault, revenge, and they follow pseudo-intellectuals who tell them yoga brings demons out of you, and they think that they're a better Christian Catholic than an actual Christian Catholic who says, excuse me, you don't know ventrovagal portfolio of toning exercises. You don't know about neuroception. Yes, Stephen Porges is still proving his theory. Apparently you don't know about intellect. I think you don't really care about the podcast you have going on. You just care about the words that you think you know how to use because you lack the integrity and the actual virtue to notice a thing or two about your 14-month-old and your implicit, explicit memory and biases and charges. So you don't know who you are. You don't know what it means to be your whole self. You don't know the truth because you don't know that any of your cherishable beliefs can be falsifiable. And above all, you don't know how to use your prefrontal cortex. Because if you did, you'd know how to be an angry, whatever you think you are, in this case, a Christian Catholic. So angry Buddhist is what the somatic therapists call the people who are restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating. Join us. Become a paid subscriber if you like to do mindset, because that's the point. You do thoughts, emotions, and say, yes, of course, Jesus, I forgive my brothers and sisters. I totally understand why not to cast a stone. They don't know they've got mustard on their chin. They don't like when I tell them about all of our brothers and sisters being amazing, and, I leave it alone because I am growing consistently forever, my tree of life. And as an empowered feminine, I know that the world is small and that 3D, 4D ain't going anywhere. So they can use their human interactions to effectively use the mind, the blade, and that's your masculine. My masculine is empowered, and he's making up for all of the past karma, and I'm completely moving Maria's soul piece of consciousness to Dharma. Why? Well, because one, Earth is in Dharma too. I do have a future husband. I know who he is. The ancient ones and I have relationships. So this is what an intuitive, a channeler and a downloader of a 5D enlightenment mystic. It's very straightforward, and I like to treat it with food for thought because it's fun to talk to my lovely brothers and sisters who believe in their self. Because only those who are not believers in their whole self, the truth, and whether you call it God, consciousness, source, divinity, or yourself, the infinite intelligence, you understand human species evolves. Thank you, Patrick McNamara. With decentralizing of the self, so you're not mediocre, which is why polyamory, monoamory, all love. If you really love, you're securely attached, non-traumatized, you have healthy self-worth, you don't watch your fucking back, and you actually don't think of people keeping secrets and me needing to be strategic about it. You think of, again, that which is Jesus, but also candlelight illuminates damage beneath the feet with wave of lights. So arrogant human beings think that they have a right to choose for somebody anything and everything, and they will tell you why. And if you're person who is instead not mediocre, you will not do let me argue with you. Because while Terry Real shares with people how not to argue because he's looking to support couples to become badass actual men and women and days, what I can tell you is I don't argue because I don't need to prove Maria, because I'm not really doing that. I'm talking. There's no point to my chit chat. There's me just sharing food for thought. This is a differentiated self who has thoughts, emotions, and intellect, and an embodied brain that says, as long as I'm not physically unsafe, there's no reason for me to get angry about anything, because I don't need to run away out, and my ego doesn't get offended, because again, I'm an empowered masculine and feminine of myself. So here's where spiritual and personal growth, again, they lead to deeper connection with self and truth. Neutrality in duality is truth, because I can have thoughts, emotions, they arise. Then I allow myself to process. And the new moon brings about, like all ascension energies, things that you get to chit-chat with yourself about. So if you have that inner growth mindset, and you have an open heart, so you're securely attached, non-traumatized, you calibrate to your ventral vagal state, you do not ruminate, and so your insula lights up the amygdala, temporal junction, and prefrontal cortex. The temporal junction is what people say in when they're ruminating. And that's because they actually don't know that their heart and their gut and their mind is ruled by them. So like that Zen master who, what does he say about his laundry? His sadness? It's laundry. So it's not laundry. Let me get something as my battery is dying on us. But yeah, mediocrity is when you meet people who think that by being in their basically sympathetic that they're taking a stand. While I know what happens when you're in the certainty of anger. You start to generalize, you do stereotypes, and your hippocampus gets saturated with cortisol. You're in your brainstem. My gut will be lit up. My heart will be closed. It'll be very uninteresting to be in the presence of a facade because I don't really like formalities at all. I build genuine relationships with people who care about each other for real, not pretend. And pretend is any person who wants to tell me that they care about anyone, but then they think that their emotions and their way of thinking matters more. So mediocrity. I don't support it, but I don't shame it because God did teach me how not to play know-it-all. And so here's where, let me think of stories. We all get choice points when we're meeting each other all the time, not just sometimes, all the time. So you create emotional mastery thanks to your oversoul. So every time somebody has treated me with what I will consider unkindness, I will have chosen consciously on purpose because I have integrity and virtue and valor like Pacha. I don't need to care about your secrets because your secrets mean nothing to me except for shame, blame, fault, revenge. Go get therapy, please, and get over yourself because whatever you think that you will have done that would make me think ill of you, ego, my gosh, you really don't get over yourself ever, do you? This is how a securely attached, non-traumatized person can let you know. I'm a teenager. I'm thinking, what the fuck? You don't know how to speak mouth? So I have a twin, though. It's very easy for me to do splinters and ruptures. It's not personal. I'm just saying I know how to work with any insecure. I got to college. I didn't think about college students. Now I know emotionally mature people are grown human beings who I'm like, wow. Mediocre, mediocre, mediocre. Oh, sure, fancy boats all over the place. Your energy's so small that it makes me laugh. No, it doesn't. But if I have to tell you how I can perceive it, it's really small. They're not Lucifers. I was introduced to this monster that would be monstrous somewhere. I'm like, where? 1 to 22, the evil scale of Michael Stone. They all end up in prison. The ones who don't, they're getting followed around by lost boys. This is not funny. 7 to 14, charming to who? To the moron who, the one who follows the let me bow down to a master who doesn't notice yoga, demons, what? Why would you spread that rumor? How do you even think that because you follow the 10, 20 books, is that it? Did you know they made up the Adam and Eve thing? When I found that out, I'm like, what? They lied to me? I don't trust you. You're liars. Oh, I don't give a shit about all these conspiracies that you keep wanting to make up. That's just, how dare you talk to me about who I am and God. You're lying and doing things. And these are people. So again, there's the actress from My Cousin Vinny. I found out that there was a rumor. She won the Oscar and they thought she bought it or it was fake or I forget. But this rumor still ongoing. That's how relationship, soul age group, gossip, petty. What the fuck? Drama kings, drama queens. It isn't disrespectful when they're disregarding their mediocrity and to go get their prefrontal cortex online, which is why Robert Sapolsky, come on in, determined. He says we don't have free will. If he's correct for any reason, I know who's going to be at IHP because I don't do mediocrity. And apparently people think that means I'm a snob. And I say, I'm not. You're picky. No. Selective. Yes. Do you hang out with all people? Because I mean, really, this is kind of not clear why you're picking at the fact that I don't want to hang out with idiots or people who don't know boundaries or people who don't know how to love. Like do you like to be with dysregulated, fake, adaptive child part? It's not a losing strategy to real. So when you know how to be yourself, you're going to notice those who are not because the nervous system, I pick up on yours, you pick up on me. Nah, depends. If you do mindset, if you do mindfulness, if you have mind sight, sensations, images, feelings, thoughts, yes. If you lie to yourself, this whole paradox thing that Sadhguru was saying, if you don't allow yourself to notice when I am in a space of emotional, whatever's going on, and I don't process it with the heart, okay? So that's why it's not about denying, it's not about accentuating. It's about the land of neutrality where you don't scan yourself or others, you don't scan the situation. You're able to explore it, enlightenment. It's emotional mastery and it says no to mediocrity. And people who want to stay mediocre, they're going to hang out with the 3D, 4D, give each other pats on the back, find ways to tell themselves they're special. In the meantime, the ones of us who do Dharma know we're all special, and we get to make fun of the ones who don't want to get here. Well, because, I need to be an entertainer while I'm educating, because otherwise I'll get boring to you. So, late IHP Show, this new moon brought about some amazing expansion for all of you who are doing Dharma. I really wish all our brothers and sisters would move in it. And when this lady says, many will be called, but few will be chosen, it's not true. If we have more people who can allow them to see what it's like to be respected, they'll feel it. Then they have Patrick Tian, Terry Real, all the smart therapists online. So their inner child will have gotten treated a different way. So maybe they'll notice the clinical dissociation. Maybe they'll notice the fragmentation. Maybe they'll notice their maladaptive patterns. Maybe they'll notice that they can and want to build relationships and it's safe to stay. Close your eyes. Tell me all the reasons why you're one of a kind. Michael Bublé. Angels don't need armors. When they keep making out spiritual to need to fight, this is a superhero, supervillain from ancient times. God is discerning, equanimous love. Akash source intelligence knows all. Don't need any one of us to make sure anything goes the way it goes. So one human being or two or three or 144,000 thinking that they're special and anointed tells me exactly how little they understand of what it would mean to have a God. Because, really, it's just, Wendy, how's your books? Faith and a relationship means you know that you're here to be and do, because like Jesus did, he walked the walk and talked the talk. That's why I just booed, I'm sorry, but sitting under a tree, I didn't find it attractive. Just thought, what are you doing under a tree? You were in a village. You were able to change because you had an actual position, but you said no and you got up and left. And when I hear any of the stories from all of the spiritual stuff, love you, Sadhguru, man, but there's one, for example, of this king. He has, I don't even know how many wives. There's one wife that truly loves him, and he plays a trick on her. He pretends that he's dead. He sends clothes back, and she dies of grief. And then he comes back, and now he can't have her back because she's physically dead. What does he do? He abandons the town. They always abandon the town. And I'm like, what are you doing? Again, Jesus bore a cross. He wore whatever. Like, why would you abandon? There's another one, the self-righteous. As Sadhguru shares a bunch of stories, and he goes and kills all these people, and then he realized that he was wrong. Yes, because adaptive child part people are always destructive in their mode. They need therapy. It's not Lucifer again. So now, I've done the worst thing that I could ever do. What does he do? He goes and dies on a mountain. Coward again. So every time I've heard any of these stories, I'm like, coward, 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 coward. Now today, I'm aware of what ventral vagal toning means and mindfulness and meditation. I didn't need to go down the path of the guru to become my own yogi, guru, prophet, and to let you all in on a fun fact. Being experienced in darkness, which is what the expert yogis get taught. Thank you, Sadhguru. It simply means human secondary consciousness. I can have purpose and no purpose whatsoever. And it's called having humility and then knowing I can be unseen, I can be unheard, I can totally be unsoothed, unsafe, meaning you don't give two shits about me. There's Shiva. Thanks, Kali. Thanks, Shiva. Oh, look, Krishna Lila. Did I just explore the depths of myself without mediocrity? Yes, I did. Is it easy? Yes, it is. You know why? Walk like an Egyptian, because it's the truth. It's not insensitive because it's not way down and it's not highlighted. It's data. Secure attachment, non-traumatized people. You're boring. Not really. I find it very amazing to be in discerning, wise, good judgment, equanimous, calm-centered, loving energy. Thanks, God. So the voice of the lovely God for me is that, and the Christian Catholic catechist taught me what God is and Holy Spirit and Jesus, and none of the monstrous stuff that I hear all these other people doing. And the ones who do know Holy Spirit works in different ways, knows that clairs, mysticism, we're all together. So the only ones who choose to stay divisive are the masses of the people who follow those who spill out dogma to them and fake temples, because they're now giving them yesterday's books as data. It's yesterday's books. You created a museum where we get the fake story of Adam and Eve, and you don't teach Darwinism. We got people who don't take their children to hospitals. You want to call what? The West what? What country wants to be advanced? In what way? What way are you advanced? Advanced how? Advanced means nothing. Or are you thinking of when it was the wild, wild west to now? Is that what? So when you have somebody who has cognitive dissonance, structural dissociation, dogma on a wheelhouse with yesterday's news, you're going to very clearly spot it. It has nothing to do with God. Spirituality, religion, meaning that which is faith. Because those of us who do care about where we grew up and how we grew up, you know what I care about? Every time I say Christian Catholic, I have to see people do this. Why, Maria? I have to hear them say, why? And I say, what do you mean? Why? I have a good catechist. What do you want from me? I had a good relationship. They taught me all about Jesus and forgiveness. Is why I'm here. Why, what? So any type of person who has a bias about something based on generalizations and stereotypes, moron, mediocre for sure. And they completely lack objectivity, because they don't realize that they're a subjective experiencing human being with perception. Their body, first of all, their first 3 years, their implicit, explicit memory and biases. So when I hear someone with a charge, sure, get it off your chest so I can, get up and go somewhere and have fun with the smart ones. Curious, open, accepting, and loving. Everyone will have walked and have wave of lights beneath the feet. That means that everyone will have felt that life was harsh at some point, shape, or form. But really, is it harsh? I'm just thinking. My life wasn't harsh. That's why I was lucky. I am lucky. I still am lucky. Gary Vee, man, just tell them you're lucky next time, because that way people can leave it alone instead of thinking that you're fake positive, that you pretend to not suffer, and then they completely go spread rumors about yoga and think that they are spelling out some brilliant information. Makes me quite sick to my stomach to see human beings think they're brilliant while they're in half brains, and I know how to explain it, and there are people who will look up to them. No, but look at what they're doing, Maria. That is an actual pathology walking, that found balance, but they had an option. They could have continued doing work to get out of that dark sides of neuroplasticity. Instead, I know exactly how they use their brain, the thinking in the morning and the night. It's not attractive. It's also limiting not only their expression, their thinking, their body, meaning the nervous system, and they're completely not allowing themselves to think outside the box, to use those books that they want to regurgitate. What is it? It's basic. I can go read and I'll have a better time. It's okay. So you don't look up to mediocre people, the fucking business. There's no need to fuck in the way that the people who actually, unfortunately, have unhealthy self-soothing do. I'm not kidding. It's not pretty. The ones who think abstinence, they just didn't go heal at a therapist, so they went at the other extreme. It's called bad decentralizing of the self. So instead of evolving and expanding, they close rigidly into their teenager. If you're grounded in reality, you say, okay, here's the rainbow. Okay, I'm not out in the desert anymore. I got to the land. Okay, I'm seeing that the truth is those who want to believe that we are living in the Scarlet Letter times have reached a dead end and continue to be in Plato's book, or whatever the book was, where he talks about the cave and they're staring at it and they completely think that they know what they're talking about. And they get followed. The pseudo-intellectuals who are being interviewed by the podcast people, they're followed by millions. Guess the authentic ones that share with you genuine spiritual messages, genuine. Sadhguru doesn't count. He's awesome. Thank goodness we have Sadhguru. He explains why he was able to do what he did this lifetime. He said, I learned I need to do marketing. I'm like, yes, that's good, Sadhguru. I'm happy that you're out there. But in the meantime, the other ones, and so if people thrive on conspiracies and behind the scenes, it's not the algorithm, it's people looking for a story for themselves. There's so many times that you will be handed out in the desert the opportunity to bridge that gap and to choose to become an open heart, a solar plexus, and a sacral. And again, I do know I came from a church where I did hear different things, but we never got taught we were supposed to be ignorant, which is why the leaders are supposed to be leaders, which means intelligent. If you are selling something that is from yesterday's news, you're not an intelligent. If you don't understand neuroscience, neuroplasticity, if you don't understand technology and what we're building with medicine, if you don't understand, how dare you call yourself a leader of what? So the people who are smart, self-agents, is like, I believe in God, I know Holy Spirit and Jesus. I'm thinking nothing of pseudo-intellectuals because God told me not to play know-it-all and to not judge human suffering, a waste of my fucking time. And Buddha makes fun of me because I spot it like a hawk, and Jesus is proud of me because I do exactly what he said: forgive, turn the other cheek, and leave it alone. By the third time, I'll know your hand, Cusco. By the fifth time, I'm done because now I know your wheelhouse. By the sixth time, seventh, eighth, ninth, eventually you won't want to be around me because I am actually the real deal, and I know how to keep it together when you have a flip and a switch, because I don't, in my bad moments, get messed up. I'm completely clear because I'm a securely attached, non-traumatized person. So when you're a 5D, Christ consciousness, oneness consciousness, come on over. Mystic, spiritual, mindful, living, loving people, become a paid subscriber. And during the ascension energies, those of you who are expanding, you are knowing that you're doing Dharma intuitively, because you can notice, and this is from one of my courses too, this similar thing happened to me, what was it? 5 years ago, but it was different. Okay, that makes sense. So with spiritual and mystic stuff, I know I'm processing emotions, the experience, and I'm doing Dharma more and more and more. And I'm leaving alone that which, by the way, karma is out, the lower frequencies out. On earth, there's no more. So the people who are holding on to it, I mean, that's their choice. But at the end of the day, the dark sides of neuroplasticity, it's sad because they'll shut themselves in. But they're happy to sound like donkeys. They don't notice it. It's really fascinating. Again, we'll be back with more. And what I mean is that those people don't, they're not caring to be in a genuine, open-hearted relationship. Adaptive child part people are self-preserving. And they speak from their mouth, but they don't feel from their heart. And they don't feel from their gut. And then they lie, and they continue to play the facade. So, facades are really boring because they're small energy, and they're not going to add anything. So golden nuggets, yeah. Last time I actually thought any of people that I knew had good judgment skills. I said, remember Maria, a bunch of masses. So when someone is a mass, they ask for shortcuts to things that don't have shortcuts. When somebody doesn't care about what they do and they are mediocre, they're looking to make a quick buck, not to be long-term, leaving something that stays and supports our human herd beyond that which is their lifetime. Someone wants to tell me they're a good parent, you know that means your children. So if you're good anything when it comes to parent and child, you're going to start doing everything you can to save and help the environment, not tell me you don't believe in it. Even if you don't believe in it, don't you care enough to, maybe if it's true, it's kind of like the flat earthers, let's leave them alone. They can keep doing their research, who cares? My point is, I don't believe, there's none. You're having children and you want to tell me that. And then there's the ones who are saying that all these people who are having children are it's amazing how imagination runs wild in the brains of a bunch of different people. But I guess without them, we wouldn't be entertained. So again, anyways, enlightenment, emotional mastery, really fun. You do it with mindset because you have the mindfulness desire and are able to do the practices. And you are able to do that because with mindset, you sift the sensations, images, feelings, thoughts, Dr. Daniel Siegel's acronyms. So we get to do prefrontal cortex workout and ventral vagal state workout. And when we're processing things that come up, we do it as safe haven, secure bases with each other. And the fun part is that we care. The fun part is we don't take things personally. The fun part is that we send that frequency and it's a ripple effect. The fun part is that we are all intuitives, channelers, guides, but some, they don't think of it that way. And then there are some of us who are very much aware of how we're helping. So if you know what you're here to do, then for me, I already know. I'm supporting people to live a fulfilling and well-being life as yourself. Be yourself mindfully with laws, integrity. Again, join us, become a paid subscriber. And that will help the channel grow. And there's a lot of content that will be populated, including a light version of the masterclass at one point. So I'm attachment trauma educated, but again, I'm pseudoscience lady, remember that. And mentor, content creator, podcast host, entrepreneur, marketer, a bunch of things. But above all, I'm a big fan of you being you, mindfully with this lovely integrity, and then being able to know that when you're in the presence of the heart that has hardened, like the Egyptian king, you don't do anything because it's none of your business, because they are the ones who could notice, wow, I didn't have compassion here. I didn't have kindness. I didn't have empathy. I thought they have secrets. I'm going to make more secrets. Let me make sure I won't get fucked with ever again. I'm afraid, all people, they're horrible. That's so petty. It's just not the way that God is looking, or life for you to live, but also that brain, really ego, my gosh, are you living into a movie? So when you're able to just know relationships, life, everything is a risk, and to know it from the depths of stillness, we raise our frequency. And stillness, why? Because with mindfulness and mindsight and the mindset, you grow, you stress, because you will be more at ease. So the outside people don't notice the difference. You do, though. I know all about how heaven in the body works. And it's not wine, Sadhguru, because, it gets bloated with wine, everything. So at the end of the day, believe in yourself. The depths of your being, nourish the talents your spirit is freeing. Bruce B. Wilmer. Know in your heart when the going gets slow that your faith in yourself will continue to grow. Don't forfeit ambition. When others may doubt, it is your life to live. You must live it throughout. Learn from your errors. Don't dwell in the past. Never withdraw from a world that is vast. Believe in yourself. Find the best that is you. Let your spirit prevail. Steer a course that is true. So the one thing is, are you proud of yourself? My 8-year-old, she's awesomely proud of myself. So is my 16-year-old. So are all of them, but above all, I am the grown-up version. And I don't need you to give me anything. I'm not living my life based on you. And actually, I know exactly what I bring to the table. And when you're genuine and honest and transparent, that's the part of, it's not, they betrayed me. I've stopped talking to God about cowards a long time ago. I just said, there's no Lucifer. I don't know where he's at, but if I ever see him. But in the meantime, I can't support the cloak people. They physically hurt children. They're justifying it. And now they're still talking shit about yoga and mystics. So God said, don't worry, Maria, Dalai Lama will take care of it. Everyone will. I'm like, are we sure about this? You guys will do fine. So spirituality community, come on over, because yeah, we're okay. The Ways to God, the book that's coming out on June 28th. I'm a co-author amongst another 8 beautiful spiritual authors. My chapter, God is Discerning Equanimous Love, and they all have different backgrounds, different titles, so join us. We have a launch party on that day. If you're curious, I need to share that link on the YouTube channel. But thanks again for stopping by. Have a good one.